10 players enter a game. Each week they will compete in 2 challenges to earn diamonds for a group pot. But one of these players is the Mole, a saboteur working for me, whose job it is to covertly fail at challenges, so the diamonds go into the Mole's pot. Every episode, after they compete in 2 challenges, the players will take a quiz with questions about the Mole and how the Mole did at that episode's challenges. The player who scores the lowest on the quiz will be eliminated from the game, a victim of the Mole. The game is simple. Complete challenges, earn diamonds, and figure out the most important question. Who is the Mole? Is it Matt, a 15-year-old lifeguard from the UK? Aflac the Duck, an 18-year-old vexillologist from the USA? Cosmic Cortex, an 18-year-old master dark mage from the UK? Flames, a 31-year-old student from the USA? George the Jedi, a 20-year-old glass artist apprentice from the USA? Lopi, a 13-year-old professional salt collector from the UK? Mr. Craftman, a 20-year-old broke student from Scotland? PT, a 26-year-old math teacher from the USA? Stigman, a 16-year-old hacker from the UK? Flying Angel, an 18-year-old guardian angel from the USA? All right, welcome everybody to Season 6 of The Mole, the reunion.
Woo!
Let's get a look at all these lovely people. Now, these are the players in order of elimination. You know, first episode elimination on down the line. So we have Mr. Craftman. We have Little Pie. We have Stig. The Flying Angel. Flames. Matt. We have Mr. George the Jedi. PT. Aflac. And your Mole, who looks like he's buffed up since the season ended and is already in holiday spirits, which is kind of scary. Cosmic Cortex.
Boo.
Here's the lovely Mole room built by Kama. And obviously talking some of the helpers here. DB did help during the season with like interviews and such. But she's not here. She's getting ready to join the military, joining the army in a few days. But we have Mr. Duffman Danny, a previous Mole. We have Retro and Poker, who played in last season of the Mole and failed. And we have Kama, who has played in previous seasons of the Mole and got really close to the win, but we won't talk about that. Still stings a little bit.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do in this episode here, this will probably be 2-episode video because these usually do run long. We're going to talk about each challenge. We're going to talk to the players. Players are going to give their feedback, their thoughts. Helpers can give their feedback and thoughts. We'll talk about the quizzes, how the players did, how the viewers voted, and then we'll have a pointed, in some case, question for the eliminated player. And then we'll continue through all the episodes. And then at the very end, we'll go through a lot of questions that are more generic. Some of those questions might get answered just by you guys talking. So I'll still mention the question, but if it's one we've already answered, I'll be like, well, this person asked this, but it's already been answered.
Okay.
All right, so let us get this party started. Episode 1, challenge number 1, the Mansion's Mystery. You guys got all 600 points. The Mole got nothing. Your guys, as players, thoughts on the Mansion's Mystery?
I thought it was quite good, especially like because you sort of sprung it on us, because you sort of said, "Oh, go find a room," and then you said, "Oh no, it's actually a challenge," and then so we had to sort of kick our brains into gear, and it was a nice surprise to start off with. I think.
Yeah, it did help though a little bit that you allowed us to look at the mansion a little bit beforehand, because like when we were in the mansion, I saw a bunch of pictures everywhere, so I was like a little suspicious of something. So when I looked around, I kept like bumping into pictures to see if I could find a hidden path. And I think I found one, and it ended up being used for the challenge later on. So that was something that was kind of helpful. But the challenge was well thought out. and it was cool to have like the very first challenge be part of our rooms that we would become accustomed to through most of the episodes.
A funny story when it comes to the viewers is that I had a couple people who, when they watched the first episode, they thought I was the mole because I made a comment about not going down the pit really soon after someone first stepped behind the painting. So they're like, well, how would you know there's a pit there? But the viewers just, didn't know that George had already wandered around the mansion and walked through a painting and stuff. So, yeah, that explains that.
On that point too, one of the things that we did mistake-wise is I wanted that blocked off so that you wouldn't be able to see that it was a secret, and then until the challenge started. And I believe I don't know if it was Retro or whatever, blocked the front of it off. And I didn't want the front block because it kind of made it obvious. So we kind of were a little behind with that challenge. I really wanted to keep people away from that so that wouldn't have been discovered. I still didn't know if you could do the challenge just because of the math problem. Now, one question that was asked, and this was by Claude Gaming, and it's for PT about this challenge, said in the first challenge of this season, you entered the code wrong. Did you accidentally enter it like you were typing it into a calculator?
I was looking at my computer keyboard, actually, and I guess my computer is kind of like a calculator or something, but I was looking at my computer keyboard, and so it turned out to not be the way I was supposed to enter it, and then as soon as I realized my mistake, I'm like, oh, great, I look like the mole. That's awesome.
That was one of the first things that led me. Oh, sorry. That was one of the first things that kind of made me think it might be PT, was he knew the answer right away, but he typed it wrong. And that also drew me to Little Pie at the beginning, too.
What?
When you answered it right after him.
Oh, yeah, because he puts it in, like, yeah, basically like he calculates, like, the numbers on the far right of the keyboard. And then I was like, that's a bit wrong, buddy. And so I went and put it in properly.
Yeah, this kind of threw me, this one, especially the math part, because like I was still trying to work out in my head, and I was still listening to what was going on, but I couldn't really say, or I couldn't really hear if anyone had got it, and all of a sudden PT's typing in the code, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, come on, we need to work this out. And lo and behold, he's worked out already. But yeah, that math problem was hard, and I'm still trying to work it out. 3 months later, still trying to work it out.
It helps when he's a math teacher.
Yeah, that's very true.
That probably saved us, honestly. Was that?
Yeah, I don't think if PT wasn't here, I think we would still be stuck in that room.
Definitely.
All right, the next challenge number 2. Row, row, row your boat. You guys got nothing. The mole got 400 diamonds. Your guys' thoughts on that challenge?
Really enjoyed it.
Stuck, so
I can't believe I didn't notice the sign.
Yeah, I was pretty thrown by that sign question. I'm not gonna lie, did not see that one coming.
How many people saw the sign?
I think
me.
Me and George both rode on a boat together, like just rode together to find a sign, and we both saw it, and we were both like so excited.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, ooh, over there, and then we just like stayed quiet, and everyone else was like talking, didn't realize. And then I told Stig about the sign. So
hell yeah!
Oh, Allegiance is coming out now. Oh, look
me
at
and
this.
Matt like had an unspoken
Look
alliance
here.
throughout
Yes.
almost all this game. We never helped each other with like info.
Yeah,
or signs.
yeah.
Signs, yeah.
For
Yeah.
voice
Yeah,
children.
I thought we worked together. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, we did. More alliances, but yeah, that'll be later on.
Yeah, I think this challenge was it was interesting to see some strategies coming out, because I obviously went first and found the route through just by pure luck. I went straight ahead, and I told everyone, yeah, at the junction, just go straight ahead. And then obviously I couldn't see once I'd finished, but I was hearing people say, oh, which way do I go? Which way do I go? And I was like, go straight ahead. And then all of a sudden you say, oh, you're off the course. Next person go. I'm like, I've got you. Maybe it was just poor instructions from me. I'm not the best at explaining things, but it definitely threw up some questions throughout.
I
Some
remember
I remember people were saying go straight and then right. I didn't realize you meant like all the way to the end straight. I thought there were only 2 turns, so that's why I went directly right, because I didn't realize there was a 3 turns rather than 2
Well,
turns.
I did say crossroads, and that kind of implies it's 4 directions.
I was thinking of a 2-way road.
That's fair. I understand that, but you know, you're the
So someone sitting beside me mixes up their left and right on that challenge.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
why.
let me just quickly explain. So I have a habit of confusing my lefts and right quite a lot, actually. It's kind of scary. So when someone said, was it go right? I thought I was going right. I was going left. So, yeah.
And I think later on in the challenge, when Little Pie was going, she said, like, she got through the first one okay, and then later on she said, I'm at a fork, do I go left or right? And I'm like, there was no fork. What fork are you talking about?
I found that fork.
Yeah, and it turned out to be this little, like,
Tiny.
inconspicuous turn that obviously leads nowhere. That I found on like a walkthrough afterwards. But yeah, that kind of confused me a little bit as well.
I went the wrong way first, and I was like, oh, this is a dead end. I turned back around and went the right way.
Yeah.
In this challenge, I tried to do like a diagram, like a little drawing of it, and I just abandoned it like the first 5 seconds because nobody was really telling me which way to go. And I was like telling Little Pie about like everything because she was the last one after me. So, and then I got accidentally pressed the F5 mode while I was turning around, and then that's why I got eliminated.
The thing about back to that fork thing with Lily Pie, I went down that course 3 times after that, and I did not find out once. And I only realized what she was talking about when I watched the video.
Yeah, it was quite a difficult one to spot. But I suppose if you're sort of trying pacing your way through it, not going too quickly, that's something you might pick up on.
Angel, you spoke about trying to make a map. I was often trying to ask people on that challenge, on the clouds challenge, on one of the other ones later. I was trying to ask people, hey, like, go early, give us advice for later, but very rarely was I ever able to get like map sort of information.
Well, that's a good question in general. I mean, this wasn't asked, but a lot of times you would see PT and others wanting information from players, and then either just people not being able to communicate instruction or just not willing to. Did some of you do that on purpose? You didn't want to help, or was it just the challenge and everything? You just didn't know what to say. You were stressed.
Throughout the entire series, I mostly like the things that I chose to like the strategy and where to put players, which I kind of did later on. That was more of my benefit than anyone else's, so it would be easier for me to do the quiz and others. So I was mostly not wanting to give other players as all information, but other bits.
Okay. Helpers, obviously we've talked now about these 2 challenges from this episode. Anything you want to say from a building standpoint for either of these 2 challenges?
For the first challenge, when I started building it and doing the math problem, I did not expect that there was a math teacher there, so GG on that.
I hate jungle trees.
This the second challenge, row your boat, was kind of a repeat of a challenge that Danny built. And I think Danny was originally going to build it, but he wasn't available. Is that correct?
Yeah, he wasn't available for about half of the season's building, so I had to do the boat challenge. And I think Danny would have done a way better job, so next time there's a boat challenge, Danny's hired again.
All right, so let's talk episode 1 quiz. Now, obviously, Mr. Craftman eliminated. Flames, Little Pie, and Mr. Kraft only got 1 right. So it was a 3-way tie for last place. Little Pie was 26 seconds slower than Flames. And then Mr. Craftman was 15 seconds slower than Little Pie.
Damn.
Yeah.
So,
right,
all 3 of you.
I'll tell you where I think I messed up in that. I think I got to the question about it was the math problem, try to work out the mole's number from the product, whatever it was. I spent too long on that, and I just decided I'll just pick a random one. And I think that might have cost me the 15 seconds.
Now, obviously, Little Pie Flames very close to going out the door there, but Flames was the quickest of the three, then Little Pie, and then Mr. Craftman. Now, also on that quiz, Stig and Angel only got 2 right, so they were very, very close to that last place. PT and George got 3 right. Affleck got 5 right. Now, remember, too, we don't count Cosmic's answers because he knows.
It's funny I got 5 right because the second we got the quiz, I literally just randomly clicked as fast as I could on random names and I clicked submit. There was no thought process. Just randomly click, submit, done.
So you could easily have got 0.
Yes.
Why couldn't you have done that?
I didn't even read any of the questions.
Boss, what did I get? I think you skipped me.
Matt, PT, and George 3 right. Affleck 5 right. Stig and Angel 2 right. Now, you guys,
we're either.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, were either Stig or Angel slower than Craftman?
I don't have that screen up. I mean, if Kama wanted to bring up the quizzes on his end as we talk about them, the actual spreadsheets, he could look for questions like that. I try to get as much generic info as possible. While he's looking, if he wants to look at that, let me go ahead and go through your guys' mole picks and viewer voting. So pretty much everybody got a vote to be in the mole except Little Pie and Cosmic. None of you guys on your quizzes picked those 2. PT was picked twice. Everybody else got 1 vote. So you guys were spreading your votes possibly, or I'm not sure, like, when you spread your votes, if you spread your mole pick or you truly put your mole pick in there. It's very early in the game, so I don't think anybody could have any real clue at that point. But that's how your guys' votes went. When it comes to the viewer voting, 23.4% thought it was Affleck. 16.3% thought it was Flame and George. They both got 16.3%. 14.2% Angel. 8.5% Stig. 7.1% Little Pie. 6.4% PT. 5% Matt. And 2.8% for Cosmic.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Sneaky sausage him.
And then we'll go ahead and ask this question, and then we'll see if Kama's got any feedback. Actually, do you have any answer, Kama, for the question?
Yes. Affleck was the fastest, then Matt, Stig, Flames, Cosmic, PT, Little Pie, Flying Angel, Craftman, and then George the Jedi about 8 minutes later.
Now, there is a question from Peach for Mr. Craftman, who was eliminated. Says, were you surprised you got eliminated first?
I think I'm surprised I was eliminated first. I wasn't surprised I was out early. I was expecting to go out maybe second or third, possibly. Like that was my best. I was genuinely thinking that's my best hope. But yeah, I think I was disappointed, but you know, I had a fun run, and it was good to come on the show finally after a while of watching it, and it was good fun.
All right, let's move on to episode 2. Challenge number 3, jump around in the clouds. You guys got 0. The mole got 400. What happened? Your thoughts?
Parkour, so...
Yeah, it's parkour, pretty much.
We suck.
Always playing parkour.
Well, I guess I kind of, after Kraft left, I kind of took the leader role and chose like where everyone would be. And like my plan for that was have like a good player, then a bad, good, bad, good, bad. But I was also testing PT at the same time. Now, no offense to you, PT, but you were kind of like the worst, if not second worst, at parkour here. And I was like, if you died once, I would have cancelled you out as the mole, like right there and then. But you didn't, so that's why I still thought you were a mole.
But I fell a lot, even if I didn't die.
But you didn't die, and that's kind of the pivotal point.
Also, I think Flames is like 5% worse than me, so I might not be the bottom.
So I think, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I was the one that actually found the ladder, but I really did not say anything about it. I was like thinking either like any of the mods forgot to take that out. I was thinking it was just like a misplacement of something, or just like a shortcut to get back to the hard path. I wish
thought-
I knew to go up there.
I honestly thought the ladders were there just so you can get on top of the rainbow. I didn't think of anything about them. I wish we had known about those secret diamonds.
My role was basically be the first one and give information to the group, which I guess I was kind of told everyone about the mole sign, and I genuinely did not see the easier parkour. Like when people were talking about the easier parkour, I was really confused, going, "What easy parkour? That's the only parkour there." And when I saw it, I literally facepalmed to myself. I was so confused.
Sure, Sig.
In all fairness, it did look like a very difficult course. I mean, I think I would have struggled on that quite badly.
On that subject, what was very interesting during the pre-party, I think Mr. Craftman was probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, parkour player.
Yeah, like
He was the best.
not me to brag or anything, but yeah, I would say I was. Like even just watching that episode back, I was like, yeah, that looks extremely difficult. What was the time limit? Was it 15, 20 minutes? I think it was 15.
25.
25.
25-ish.
Was it 25? Yeah, the limit for it was 25.
Yeah, we blew way past that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it
they
took
were
like
way
an
past.
hour or something, didn't it?
It took
Oh, that was
38
ridiculous.
minutes, 50 seconds.
As soon
My
as that
goodness,
challenge
you
came
guys
up,
suck.
we were all like, "Oh, Kraft should be here. He needs to be here. He couldn't have got eliminated. Like he should have been at that challenge."
Well, just think too, if Affleck's strategy of just submitting random answers failed him and he gets eliminated, Kraft's still in the game and runs the course, would it have changed it? I still think you guys probably would have failed.
Probably would have been closer.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we would have been closer.
Not
but
with
I
what
genuinely
PT did.
I genuinely
think
still
we
think
would've
I would have
failed.
struggled. I would have struggled on that quite badly because it was very difficult.
I just gave up after the first couple parts, so you gotta figure that in too. So
The one thing I've been wondering, what happened with PT during his run?
I figured that might be a question someone asked me anyway, but I guess I can answer it now. I finished the run, and then I legitimately didn't think to pass through the finish line. It was the second case in the game where I'm like accidentally doing something mole-ish, and then I realize it's mole-ish, and I'm like, sweet, that's awesome.
Now,
job.
now I will
Yeah,
say,
I saw that and I thought, surely that's fine. Surely that's not a penalty. And then Boz comes in like, nope, chuck test it.
I mean, we lost anyway, but
yeah, it didn't
Oh,
matter.
It didn't matter still.
did Cosmic know that there were bonus diamonds on the course?
No.
There was bonus diamonds?
Yes.
Yeah, we showed it in the confidential.
Oh, see, I've not seen that yet.
Now, one of the things that on this challenge, it seemed like when we were getting to the point where people, the first group were kind of heading over towards the area where it splits and some of the items, it seemed like Cosmic started to kind of mistakenly or on purpose start talking about things that he couldn't have seen yet because he hadn't gone yet. So I don't know if you can touch on that, but it seemed like you were catching yourself or faking it.
Oh no, that was faking it. I didn't really expect what I was really talking with the people, so.
All right. Challenge number 4. Get your word on. Player scored 370. The mole scored 80. What are your guys' thoughts on this challenge?
Beautiful in design.
It was a nice challenge. It certainly made me think a little bit because I'm terrible at words. I was like, this is a word, that's a word.
I can figure out words from sentences by just looking at the sentences a couple times. Even though that I only missed one, it was still a pretty good word, because sometimes you can have 2 words and be it something useful. So
I had no idea. about the challenge of what I was supposed to do, and I didn't even saw the sign till boss came in, and I was like, then I just realized and began just typing everywhere.
I'm with Angel. I got lost on the instructions, and it's not really the fault of the instructions. What happened was I saw so many different huts, and I was trying to pay attention to what materials were used in each hut in case it was somehow relevant to the quiz. And while I was doing all that, I accidentally didn't pay attention to the instructions.
Now, I will say also, we did accidentally approve one person's word that was invalid. We missed it, the helpers and I. It doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, change anything for the challenge or for the final scores, where it would swing the thing in either direction. But we did mess that up.
Whose word was it?
What was it?
I honestly, that just popped in my head. I didn't have that in my notes as we were talking, but I forget there. But I think in the videos, might have been PT said one of his friends caught it.
I think I might have said that in a comment in the video or on our Discord channel. I don't really remember where, but you can probably find it somewhere, or just rewatch the video.
Yeah, I'll look for it if we don't figure it out before this ends. But I forget who it was. I think it was one of the latter players. But anyway, it didn't in the grand scheme of things change anything because it was only one word. So talking quiz. This obviously was Little Pie's elimination. Little Pie again only got one right. She was the only one that got one right, so she was obviously eliminated. Then it was Matt, Flame, and Angel, and PT. All four of you got 3 right. And then Affleck, Stig, and George, you all got 4 right. So that was your quiz. And again, we don't factor Cosmic in because obviously he's the mole. It doesn't really matter. Pick-wise, players, 5 players picked PT as the mole, 1 Flame, 1 Little Pie, and 1 of you picked George. Viewer voting, 36.2% Affleck, 15.9% PT, 10.1 for Flame and George, 8.7 for Angel, 7.2 for Stig, and then 5.8 for Matt and Cosmic.
Cosmic, you sneaky sausage.
I really thought I was going to be really molish on this.
I kind of, to be honest with you, like the first 4 episodes, I didn't really do anything molish because it's the first 4 episodes. Obviously, I don't really need to do anything.
Can I just say, after that quiz, in my head, and even in my notes, I have PT circled in my notes, thinking, oh, PT is the mole because he's done so many molish things with like the math and the parkour and stuff. And at that point, I thought, okay, it has to be PT. I'm gonna go all in from this point on, and
I still split you and George that episode, but after the next episode on, it was all you.
Yeah, I don't think I ever like split from you ever again, PT, after this quiz. It was like everything's on PT. Like, in my notes, everything is like directed towards you. So, but
I think what was interesting for this season, and it's really the first season this has ever happened, the players really had no clue who the mole was. Because, I mean, I'll be honest, Cosmic, I don't think really had to act molish. He just played the challenges. In some cases, he did them very well because people went in front of him that did so poorly, he could play his best. Throughout the entire season of quizzes, it really became to who didn't suck the worst at the quiz. Because you guys all really, really struggled on the quiz, and it was really just who failed the worst.
Yeah, after I submitted my quiz, I was talking to some people, and like Stig, he was like, he really knew I was gonna go out after I talked to him.
I was so ashamed.
He was like, Little Pie, you're going out. I'm sorry.
No one really messaged me information this season. Like everyone, except for the mole signs, no one really messaged me anything.
George, while you were probably still doing the first quiz, some of us were waiting for the elimination, and we were talking with Little Pie, and I think Little Pie was talking about the idea of going in on the first quiz. I don't know if she was saying, like, don't do it, or if she was saying she did do it. But then that's why it was really strange when the second quiz, all of a sudden, when she was just talking about it being bad to go all in, she did go all in. I don't know.
Yeah, I was
And we
really
give
dumb.
we give Little Pie grief on this a lot because during her interview, a lot of players never said this, but we asked the question, "What's a common mistake players make?" Little Pie was one of the few. A few of you said this, but Little Pie was one who said early on they put all their votes on one person.
Wow.
So then she does that.
I was so stupid. It's just 'cause I was really set on who I thought was the mole, and I was like,
Who was
I'll
your
listen
pick?
to myself. Flames.
So there is a question from Aloro for you, Little Pie, and then the question is: did you, being the only girl in the season, did it affect your gameplay in any way?
Not really. I felt like treated as like one of the guys, to be honest.
Well, there was another girl, wasn't there?
Well, we'll get into like the party. There was a question about party and alternates. We'll get to that kind of at the end after we've gone through all of it. So helpers, builders, those two challenges from episode 2. Any thoughts, any comments you want to make?
Well, aside from that, the parkour challenge itself was one of the prettiest challenges we've ever built. It was pretty easy because most of the jumps were 1 or 2 block jumps, except for like 3 jumps. I mean, I still can't believe that half of you didn't make it.
Sometimes
Look at
you trip
parkour.
up.
I would
Sorry,
like
that
to
was
give it a
dumb.
go, though. I said earlier that it looked fairly difficult. I would like to give it a go at some point.
The parkour again? Never.
Yeah. Just see if it is actually as difficult as it looked.
Well, maybe
It's
at, the
generally
end,
very-
maybe at the end we'll teleport there and put you on the spot.
Oh my.
The bun jump.
So, obviously, episode 2, now we're done. We're moving on to number 3. And the first challenge, the curse challenge, I like to say, probably the biggest fail of the season challenge-wise. Challenge number 5, Amazing Maze. You guys got 600, Mole got nothing. First question I got to ask is right now to the helpers, who were all pointing fingers at each other, saying that somebody broke this maze to make it that easy. What happened?
I think I figured out what happened. And it was actually one of the helpers breaking something on accident, not knowing that the exit was right there. And it was Poker.
My bad.
Shakus!
So the reason I say this was a fail for people maybe who forgot about the challenge is pretty much, I think it was PT. Who were you partnered with? Was it Affleck?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys kept following. I mean, you, PT, followed left, or whatever, and got right out. It took you a little while, and then, of course, Affleck had to finally make it out. But once you kind of did that left works, everybody else did either very well or figured it out based off of that. So it really made that challenge a complete bust that people could get out. But that was not the goal for that challenge. It was a very big, beautiful maze. And this goes back to a subject that, I've talked about before, and I'll probably mention at the end of this. We're going to probably ramp up season 7 and actually have testers that are in the quantity of how many players are. So if it's a 10-player game, we're going to get 10 testers that we trust to because we don't want people revealing anything to help us, because we can't test these things as well with just a few of us when we have to say, okay, now there's 10 unique people playing it. How's it going to go? But your guys' thoughts, player-wise, on Amazing Maze.
Can I just quickly say, PT, didn't you say in the challenge that you said follow you to the left? Didn't you say that?
Well, I was saying we're gonna hug the left wall and
This also comes
to
down to
follow
where...
me. But the thing is, I ran really quickly because I'm like, well, he knows how to follow left walls, and so he should be able to get there even if I'm
That's
going
the point
quickly.
where I got my lefts and right confused again. I'm terrible.
Right, I didn't realize that was the problem. I thought you were being molish there, and this was
No.
this challenge was really the big genesis of Affleck and I being rivals the entire rest of the game.
Because when you said go left, I was thinking, oh, let's go to left. Thinking I actually went right, but like, oh, we're going left, and you're like, no, you disappeared, and I was like, what? And yeah, that's what really made me also like 100% confirm that you are, in my mind, the mole. Which
right, and it's funny that You might remember, Buzz, when we started the challenge, I asked you like, "Hey, do we know where the exit is?" And you're like, "Well, I can't say where the exit is." And it just baffles me that I didn't think to look to my left and realize that the exit was literally right there. And so, imagine if I had just chosen right because I didn't know where the exit was, and we hugged the right wall. That might have been an entirely different challenge.
Yeah, I think you guys would have probably failed it.
Could I just mention, it's kind of like you could tell that me and Sig are actually having an alliance here. Because I'm not sure it sounded so cringy watching it, but Sig was like, "Oh, let's choose a leader." Just looks around. Oh, let's get Matt.
Okay. So the plan. Me and Matt were talking before, like we recorded episode 3 because obviously we get a week in advance. So me and Matt were talking about what we're gonna do, and our main focus, because our top 2 suspects was Aflag and PT. So our plan was to I cannot speak. Under no circumstances they need to be together. Like that was our plan. Put them together, and then it'll be easy for the quiz. Obviously not knowing that everyone else thought that either PT or Aflag were the mole. So yeah, that plan kind of backfired, and I just kind of went, "All right, Matt, I'm gonna make you the leader. You're gonna take charge."
And I also kind of played it again to my benefit. The only people I knew was not the mole was me, Stig, and George. I could just easily tell it wasn't him, like right from the very start. So I wanted to be with George, again, sort of like a secret alliance thing, because I knew it wasn't him, and I'm pretty sure Stig knew it wasn't him. So it was like a definite do not put votes on this group. And I thought Angel and Flames, I was like, all right, these two could, if they are mole, they're doing like a good job being very quiet. So I wanted to put those two together just to make sure. And I also wanted to put Stig with Cosmic. So if Cosmic did anything, I was hoping Stig would report it back to me so I could write it down. And guess what? He didn't do that. So...
Well, to be fair, okay, I did notice what Cosmic done, but I don't know. I noticed what he done, but I was more focused on the Aflac PT thing, and Cosmic didn't really didn't do anything else apart from asking a certain thing. So...
Well, I can account for that. I did do a molish thing where I tried to lead us into a wrong direction.
One thing about this challenge, I remember Stig joking around saying that there was a mole sign and having us look around like forever.
That was amazing.
Oh.
That was amazing.
Stig, why did you do
I did a hypocritical thing in the next episode, I think. But why did you guys not help me out if I was supposedly in your alliance, Matt and Stig?
That was amazing. I loved that. That was so good.
Did you show the Minotaur in the confidential video?
He did.
Did he?
No, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. So.
The film.
I don't know if we did or not. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
I think it was me and Angel are walking around in the maze, and then we get to the center, finding Mario there, and then Stig and Cosmic, I think, just fall out the sky, just land on us, and we like freak out because we didn't know what was happening.
Yes.
Can I?
I think we talked about that though, about the maze of the Minotaur.
We talked about it, yeah.
Can I just ask on the maze? Was this for the builders? Was your goal for us to go to the middle somehow to get to the end, to the exit? So
the original way was planned for you to go in the middle and then towards the exit. Yes.
Because I was thinking, why is there Mario in the middle? That makes like no logical sense. And
because it's a Minotaur maze.
Yeah, I got it now. I was like, what? Why is Mario in here? Okay.
I mean, there were 2 Minotaurs in front of the entrance. I mean, come on.
There was?
Yeah.
Really?
God,
I have to go look back. I am sorry.
This challenge was funny because obviously this was a very frustrating challenge for me because you guys just basically destroyed it and it wasn't even like close. Because like I'm always quizzing the helpers like, okay, you guys tested it. How well did it work? You know, who ran it? I think Kama gave like times, and I think Danny had like, I forget if it was Danny had one of the worst times or one of the best times, but it was still, you know, I don't know if it was like 5-6 minutes or whatever, 3 minutes for somebody. They were long times, and I'm thinking, okay, they built it and they couldn't get through it, and then of course the first group went through it like it was butter, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, Flame and me and Flame took the longest doing the whole circle.
Yeah, you guys gave me hope, but not enough. All right, so the challenge number 6, don't stop. Players, you scored a big 0. Mole got was it 500? Yeah, 500. Your guys'
suck at
thoughts.
parkour, so some of it was parkour, but then the rest was, when I looked at it later, it looked a little easier. So.
I get Sand. This is my favorite challenge in the entire season.
Same. That was. I mean, obviously, I didn't play any of the others, but I loved that challenge.
It was the most stressful for me.
Yeah, even just watching it back, it was quite an interesting concept.
I mean, it was the most beautiful one, other than the clouds that was built. But man, that parkour, my god!
There was a YouTube commenter who's like, why is PT jumping all weird? And it's because I didn't actually know until the horse challenge that we could press left control to constantly run. So I was trying to do double tapping forward for every single
hang on. You had no idea control sprint was a thing.
I didn't either.
I mean, it was clear to everyone when the horse
goodness.
thing happened. I said it then, like, wow, we can do this? I don't know if anyone remembers that. But
Press F
anyway.
to pay respects, am I right?
I have a question for Comma, because when I first got to test this challenge, it broke first off. I swear to God it did.
Actually, you and Stig almost broke the challenge, and I had to fix it while you were running it.
Wait, seriously?
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Wait,
were
how?
at one point. You were so fast that the timer was at the last thing, so the TNT would have exploded if you kept going. So I had to break something so the TNT doesn't explode. It goes. The timer goes further.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Me and Stig are Thunder Buddies then.
Yeah, my original goal for this challenge, when it was in my head, was more of a repetitive short course, where literally it would almost be like if you were standing up, say like on a platform, and you just had to do like 1 or 2 little jumps to get to a button, come back, go 90 degrees to the right, do a similar style jump, hit a couple jumps, different but similar, hit a button, and it was more monotonous and repetitive. And it was kind of thinking of like the TV show Survivor, where they make you hold like a bucket with your hand up in the air, and if you start to get tired, the bucket falls on you. I wanted you to mentally break down. I wanted the challenge to be easy enough that anyone could do it regardless of skill, but the time and having to keep do it would be what got you. Now, obviously, when I have an idea, I give it to the builders. The builders take things in their own direction, so it kind of changed. In hindsight, the change was fine, but I think if I had more time, I was going to write a plugin to do the timer so that it could give updates. Where I wouldn't have to worry about like Comma having to run around and reset things, or if people are too fast. So you might see a challenge very similar to what I just described, because I still would love a challenge where you guys are put on the spot to be able to just maintain a constant pattern and see when you finally break down.
I'd also like to say with this challenge, I tried to do something molish within the ice maze, but it kind of backfired on me. So,
Also,
I
what'd you
tried
do?
to.
What did you try to do?
Basically, when it was dark, I was trying to slow down with the ice, so it would look like I was taking long with the ice, instead of going faster, like round each individual crevice.
I tried to be demolished just by trying to be the first one in, just making everybody suspicious of me, but I don't think it really turned out as great. And also, I tried to save all of you people, trying to give you all the information I had on that challenge.
The one molish thing I done in this challenge, and you guys viewing won't see this, but you would have heard PT say "nice try, Stig," and that was because the entire challenge PT was saying, "Oh, try not to fall down the hole. It will cause a penalty." So PT was standing by the hole, looking down it and listening to just people talking or panicking or doing whatever, and I was behind PT, pushing him towards the hole, closer and closer, until he turned around and noticed me doing it.
Can I say I was never ever more nervous during the entire mole season at that point, because I was afraid someone's gonna fall in, and if someone did fall, we would get disqualified. So I was like, just please, no one falling, no one falling. And luckily, no one did. But God, that made me more nervous. I swear.
All right, so builders, Amazing Maze and Don't Stop. Any thoughts, comments on these?
No comments on Amazing Maze, thank you.
Yep.
And the other challenge, most of it was built by Retro and Poker, and I let all of them run, so I had time, and even that time was wrong.
Yeah, getting timings right is probably one of the hardest things about Mole for any timed event. So I think in the future we're gonna, with the more helpers, we're gonna be able to better come up with times for that. So let's talk quiz. Episode 3, obviously, Mr. Stig out the door. There was a tie. PT and Stig tied with 3 right.
Come on!
Damn.
So,
Ooh.
Stig, you were 24 seconds slower than PT.
Wow.
Thank you for being slow, Stig.
You're welcome.
The game could have dramatically changed right there if Stig would have just got one more right or been quicker, or PT got one more wrong or was slower. Matt and Aflac, you got 4 right. Flame and Angel, you got 5 right. George got 6 right. So when it came to your guys' voting, 3 of you voted for Aflac, 4 of you voted for PT. And that was the only mole picks for the players. Viewer-wise, 33.3 thought it was Aflac, 22.2 Angel, 19% PT, 7.9 George, 6.3 Matt, and Cosmic, so 6.3 for Matt Cosmic. First time Cosmic, not the lowest. And Flames, 4.8%.
Finally, I got chosen as mole, kind of.
Now, Stig, there is a question here for you by the Truth Seeker. So be prepared. A little bit of a slap here for you. It says, Stig, you lasted a little longer than your last attempt. Would you play again, or have you given up?
Damn.
No,
Savage.
I absolutely love Mole. I would definitely play it again. No question about it. I would definitely play it again. I love the game show. But I don't. If I was to play again, I don't think I'd play again for a while. So.
But can I just ask, what's the limit of how many times people can be in seasons of the Mole?
I don't have any real set limit. I mean, but I think if a player's played a couple times, a third time starts to get difficult. I mean, because I like to give new people a try, and in a lot of cases, I try to get a lot of new faces. I mean, many of you guys have never met each other before. I know Kraft, Flames, PT, and Cosmic were all pretty much new to the rest of you. The others knew each other. And you can see some of the alternates that we'll talk about later. Some of them were people that maybe you didn't know. So in some cases, it's tough. The people who we don't know, the people who aren't part of the community, sometimes are the hardest ones to get to play because they can't commit or they back out. Whereas the people who know us and are part of the community are more likely to commit the time. So sometimes it's tough. I mean, it's a gamble, because who knows? I mean, maybe this is just an example. I'm not saying it would have happened, but maybe if Craftman doesn't get eliminated and would have gone really far, maybe something came up. Maybe he had a bar mitzvah to go to and had to drop out. I don't know. I mean, things can happen. Luckily, we've only really had one situation where a player quit the game. And that was Wolf's brother back in whatever season that was. So, but anyway, I mean, there's a chance for people to play, and we might have a season. I've always wanted to. We probably need a few more seasons to do a season of the top players, the moles maybe, and top players compete. And a season where all the people who got eliminated, like in the first couple episodes, competed. You know, the low bracket gets a chance.
The losers rounds.
Does George still qualify for that?
We can talk about that later. George, we got more for George as the evening goes on.
I am so excited for that.